But I want to start with the news you just heard there that Donald Trump has been declared a clear winner in the Iowa caucuses. I think it occurred about 30 minutes into the vote count. Joining me now for her analysis, media writer at The Australian, Sophie Elsworth. I listened to his press conference, vintage Trump, his remarks after his win. He's going to be hard to beat, isn't he?
Peter, I was listening to it as well, and you're absolutely right. He is going to be hard to beat. He was back in fine Trump form, a very powerful speech. He made some interesting remarks, said that the war between Israel and Hamas wouldn't have happened if he was in charge of America. He also cited the growing migration problem the country faces. He was incredibly powerful behind the microphone, as he usually is, and he is going to be a force to be reckoned with. And I think he's going to go the mile here, Peter. He looked sharp today. He spoke very well, and it was an easy victory for him.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I said they're hard to win or hard to beat, but he'll be hard to beat. Second behind him, of course, is a tussle between Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley. We know Chris Christie pulled out last week, a couple of hours ago too. So did Vivek Ramaswamy. So it's really just down to these three, but you know, there's daylight between Trump and the other two. I know you were in the US last year. You were on the ground. What does it feel in terms of issues impacting the vote over there?
Well, Peter, I was there in November, and it was really interesting just talking to punters on the ground. A lot of support for Trump, but that was for sure. And similar issues back here, concerns about migration, a lot of cost of living concerns. So issues they're facing, we're obviously facing ourselves. But I was really surprised, I guess, that how much support he really had on the ground. Just talking to punters, families, people that I was travelling with, people I didn't know, Americans, speaking very highly of him, not highly of Biden. So he seems to have a lot of support just in the experience that I had speaking to Americans in their own country.
Well, let's get some issues closer at home. I know many in the media won't think what happens on our ports is sexy, but it's a massive hit to our economy if this row with the Maritime Union and DP World isn't sorted out quickly. The latest is the MUA has backed down on plans for an 8-hour delay at major DP World ports, but it's still pressing ahead with lower-level disruptions, including stop work and overtime action. The blue Sophie is overpaying conditions. The unions want a 16% wage hike for workers. Now, they're already on, average salary-wise, $130,000, given the average Australian full-time worker last year earned $72,000. They're double average earnings, but they want a double-digit pay increase. This has got to get sorted out pretty quickly, doesn't it?
Peter, it absolutely does. I mean, there's thousands of containers that are impacted by this. Things are slowing down. We are in obviously a cost of living crisis. The last thing we need is productivity issues. This must be sorted straight away, and it seems to be not. You know, it's taking time to do that. But obviously Labor has an issue here because of this, you know, that they're largely run by the unions. But they have to sort this out because this impacts all of us ultimately by these delays.
Your colleague at the Australian newspaper, Cameron Stewart, picked up today in an exclusive story that the promises the PM made to send personnel, he said he wanted to triple the number of personnel we have in the Middle East region, specifically in Bahrain. This was his counter to criticism that we weren't sending a frigate. Well, Stewart's revealed today that that hasn't happened. We've got a couple of officers over there. They were already assigned to US Central Command. Now, we haven't got the ships. Our ships aren't there. We haven't got the ships to sea, actually, because we haven't got the sailors to man the ships. But we're not even meeting the commitments the PM's made. We've got trouble with the defence budget. I mean, Labor are absolutely dropping the ball here.
Well, Peter, we're only a few weeks into the new year and it doesn't appear to be a good start for the Prime Minister. And we have to hold up our end of the deal with our allies. If we can't support America when they need help and when our allies are asking for help, why would they bother helping us? And it looks like, we're not able to do this. We're looking a bit like a laughing stock. So something needs to change pretty quickly or Australia is going to really embarrass itself here.
Yeah, look, and I was in London over Christmas. It was certainly brought up with me, so it is noticed that we're not pulling our weight. Let's go to the NDIS. Now, currently, it looks after less than 700,000 Australians, but it costs us more than Medicare, and Medicare looks after 25 million of us. So it doesn't add up. You'd want to look at the modelling. That's what I'd want to do if I was back in government. But of course, we find out today that Treasury is blocking the release of the modelling behind plans to shave $59 billion from NDIS budget spending. These plans were announced back in August last year. People rightly want to have a look at them. There's been an FOI request. The government is blocking it. So much for the transparency, but what on earth are they trying to hide here, Sophie?
Well, Peter, that's the question. What are they trying to hide? And we as Australians deserve to know what on earth is going on. I thought Labor's big pledge was to be far more transparent than the Morrison government. And that appears not to be happening here. So the NDIS is obviously a very important scheme for a lot of Australians, and these cuts are going to be felt. I think it's a good thing that they're cracking down on fraud and, bureaucratic expenditure, but we need to know what is going on. So they need to man up here and give Australians, the Australian public, the information that they deserve to know.
Hey, Sophie, just quickly before we go, there's been another series of blow-ups and resignations at the ABC, but you've got an exclusive on what's been happening late this afternoon in relation to Antoinette Lattouf.
Well, Peter, this is just a disaster for the ABC at the beginning of the year. Antoinette Lattouf is taking the ABC to Fair Work after she was dismissed last year over social media posts regarding the Israel-Hamas war. She's posted again today, then deleted a post that was criticising Ita Buttrose and David Anderson. She shared this post on her social media from somebody else saying basically they will end up resigning over this. The post was later removed, which was a remarkable turn of events. She's not talking about it. Now ABC staff and the media union have joined forces this afternoon. They're joining forces across the country tomorrow. There's reports that they're actually threatening walkouts over the treatment of Antoinette Lattouf and her sacking, and Noor Haider, who also quit, citing her concerns about the ABC's coverage of Israel-Hamas. This is a disaster, Peter, so watch this space. They are imploding.
We will, Sophie. We'll follow you very closely. Thank you.